I'm so fed up of every single YouTube video out there telling me that I'm training my arms wrong. And if I hear it one more time, I'm going to lose it. No, my arms did not stay small for years, and yours shouldn't either. Because the truth is that most guys are in fact actually training their arms correctly. They're just missing this one thing to make their arms grow. And once I figured out that variety is not just the spice of life, but the spice of arms too, that's when my arms swelled so fast, I could literally feel my skin tearing. So in this video, I'm not only going to show you the 3 exercises that you need, but the subtle variations required, as well as the amount of sets and reps you need to do. And I'll throw in a quick progression hack that will get you those superhero arms that will make heads turn. So let's get into it. So before we get into the exercises, let's just understand the anatomy of your arm. So your arm is composed of your biceps, your triceps, as well as your forearms. So each have a role to play in the movement of your arm. Because let's not forget, the role of muscles is always to pull, not to push. We start off with the bicep. So the role of the bicep, from the lengthened position of your arm through your elbow joint, being able to flex your arm into a contracted position. Now, the bicep is composed of 2 heads. You're going to have your long head and you're going to have your short head. You're also going to have underneath your brachialis. Now for your tricep, now the role of the tricep is through your elbow joint. It's going to allow you to extend your arm back into its lengthened position. The tricep has 3 heads. You're going to have your lateral head, your long head, and you'll also have the medial head. The role of the forearms is to enable you to have movement in your hands, your fingers, as well as your wrists. So now for your biceps, what exercise that we're going to be introducing today? The one and only, drum roll please, that's right, the curls. Big surprise? Probably not. Now, what I want to introduce to you is when you're going to perform, for instance, your standing barbell bicep curls or even dumbbell bicep curls, the issue that you're going to run into is the limited range of motion. Now, especially for those of you who've been hitting leg day, when you're going to be standing and you want to perform your bicep curl, you're not going to be able to fully extend your arm to its lengthened position just because your legs are going to be in the way. So the workaround for that is to, in fact, introduce a variation. And what I would suggest is using your preacher curl. Reason being is that you're going to have your arms rested on the bench, which will, first of all, allow your arm to be extended forward. And that is going to allow you to fully extend your arm while you're performing the movement. And when you're going to start performing the concentric part of the movement, you're going to see that tension is going to be exerted on the muscle all throughout the movement. And then when you're going to go into the eccentric phase, you're going to fully be able to extend your arm completely without locking your elbows, but extending almost to the point where it's locked, ensuring that you have a full range of motion. And that is going to make sure to stimulate your bicep as much as possible to make the long and short head grow. Another variation that I want to introduce to you is, instead of using a supinated grip for your movement, consider using a neutral grip by performing a hammer curl. Now this, you can use preacher curl bench, but instead of having your arms in a supinated grip using the bar with the easy bar, well, just in fact grab a dumbbell instead and have it in a hammer position and go ahead and perform that same movement. So having your hand in a neutral position will in fact target your brachialis, which is the muscle that's underneath the long and short head of the bicep. And that's going to give you that volume that you want in your bicep. So consider that if you want to go ahead and get that bicep growth. So guys, for your triceps, let's first get one thing straight. Any exercise that you're going to be doing is going to use all heads of your tricep. Now, the subtlety here is depending on the variations that you're going to do, it's going to solicit one of the heads more than the others. So if we start off with your tricep extensions, these are great because using a rope, for instance, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and perform the exercise by doing the extension, keeping your arms close to your sides as much as possible. But at the end of the movement, you want to make sure extend your arm as much as possible with the rope. Kind of like if you want to like pull the rope, like if you want to straighten it like so, because then you're going to, in fact, target your lateral head. That is going to be a key factor in order to generate growth in that portion of the muscle. Now, you really have to ensure, like I said, to extend as much as possible. Like the range of motion here is really important, guys, in order to solicit the lateral head. Now, if you want to target more the long head and the medial head, what you want to consider is performing some sort of a push down. So what I like to do with the tricep pushdowns, I just use a straight bar. And again, I'm keeping my elbows to my sides as I'm pushing down in order to ensure that I'm able to target that portion of my tricep. Now, the variation that we can introduce to that is introducing a bench at an inclined position while using the pulley cables attached to a horizontal tricep bar. So that will ensure that you're not going to be compensating by using your back or using your body weight to try to stabilize your body while you're pushing down the bar. It's going to enable you to not have to use any of your body, but really just focus on the tricep itself by maintaining stability with your arms in order to fully execute the movement. Now, this is something that you should really try out. And with the weights, you're going to see that they're going to drastically decrease compared to when you're performing the exercise by doing them standing using the cable. We interrupt the scheduled program for the following announcement. This video was brought to you by the 120-day tactical transformation program designed by me. My program is designed for guys over the age of 25 who have done everything in their power but are still struggling to grow muscle naturally without getting fat. Whether it be because of busy schedules, fast metabolisms, or even just a general lack of confidence, let me be the one to guide you to achieve your muscle growth objectives faster. The 120-day program provides a platform to easily track your metrics and progression, regular check-ins, delivers highly personalized training programs, easy plans to hit nutrition goals, and direct access to myself to get the body you want. For more information, check out the link below. And now, back to the regular schedule program. I know what your next question is gonna be. Why the hell isn't he not talking about the forearms? I've seen folks in the gym working out their forearms and there's nothing wrong with that. But in my opinion, it's not really all that necessary if you're looking for that aesthetic bodybuilder look. To be honest, your arms are going to be indirectly solicited anytime you perform some sort of upper body movement. So whether that be shoulder presses, whether that be bench presses, inclined dumbbell presses, whether you're doing tricep extensions, bicep curls, preacher curls, any form of exercise, dips, pull-ups, push-ups, where your hands are going to be involved, well, you're going to be using your forearms one way or another. So is it really all that necessary to do isolation exercises for your forearms? To each his own. But for me, I've always been satisfied with my forearms because they seem to fit the look of the rest of my arm. And if you're somebody who takes steroids, well, then maybe you might have oversized muscles in certain areas of your arm, and you're going to need to do that isolation exercise on your forearms. So it's about having decent proportions. That's what's important. So that's why you may have to perform isolation exercises for your forearms. It's because of proportionality, right? So that I get that that's fair. But for most natural lifters, that's not going to be a concern because you're not going to have to deal with oversized muscles. Most of you are going to be just fine with the forearms that you're going to have because, like I said, they're indirectly solicited by doing other upper body movements. In terms of the amount of sets and reps that I do in order to grow my arms, I treat it like I do for the bigger muscles of my body. So I'm always comfortable with doing, first of all, a warm-up set where I'm going to use 50% of my working set weight, and I'll do half of the amount of sets that I would do in a working set. So essentially that means that I'm going to be, well, in a working set, I usually do 8 reps. So for my warm-up set, I'm going to be doing 4 reps, and I do do them at 50%, like I said, of the working weight. Now, once I go ahead and do my working set, I go ahead and I perform 8 reps. And the tempo that I use is 3 seconds for the concentric phase. Then for the isometric phase, it's about half a second to a second. Then I go ahead and perform about 4 seconds for the eccentric part of the movement. And for that, I've been getting great results on it because first of all, I'm going at a slower pace. I know that a lot of people in the gym that you're gonna see around you are gonna be doing like really fast bicep curls and tricep extensions. But I find that when you do controlled movements, that's when you really solicit the muscle because first of all, you're practicing proper form. You're not gonna be sloppy and rocking left and right, back and forth all over the place. Like you're actually gonna be doing the movement decent. And if you throw in the use of benches, well, that's going to stabilize your arm even more. And if you even throw in the fact that, for example, your tricep extensions, you don't flare your arms, well, you're going to be protecting other joints because you're not going to be using your shoulders, for instance, if you're able to keep your elbows locked in. So that being said, these are sets and reps that I do for my arm. The final thing that I wanted to share with you guys is a neat progression hack that should give you even more results for your arms. And I'm talking about performing the movements at the end of your workout routine. So specifically, 1 tricep exercise and 1 bicep exercise at the end of an upper body workout. So essentially that means go ahead and do your compound exercises before, or the larger muscles which require more energy. So go ahead and perform your chest or your back exercises, which are like for the bigger muscles, where you're going to be inherently training your biceps and your triceps. But then finish off the workout with 1 bicep and 1 tricep workout. So that way you know that you're going to be able to perform the movements, and it's going to be easier for you to do it at the end of the workout because you're going to be only working out smaller muscles. So it's going to require less effort on your part and you'll be more motivated to do it. And let's face it, at the end of a workout, that's when you're going to take your pictures because the pump is going to be there. And when you got a sick pump on your biceps and your triceps, that is key to getting those aesthetic pictures and to getting that aesthetic look that you want. So I'm going to leave that with you. So try it out and let me know what you think. So there you have it, guys. If there's one solid takeaway that I want you to have for the end of this video, is to really look into variations, okay? You've been doing the curls, you've been doing the extensions, you've been doing the push downs, but you have to keep into account those subtle variations in order to go and maximize growth in your arms. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want, you can go ahead and let me know what's been working for you after trying it out by dropping a comment on this video. And I'd love to hear from you if you have any other suggestions on your end to help out our community. And if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be throwing more and more videos at you in order to help you in your fitness journey to achieve the muscle growth that you really want. And guys, between you and me, if you really want to have that aesthetic bodybuilder shape, no look is complete on your arms if you don't have the shoulders to match. So make sure to check out my 2 exercises that are needed to have those bolder shoulders. So on that, train hard, train smart, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.